what does the future hold? Will mankind's ambitions see them to the stars, able to heal any wound or live in complete harmony with their environment? Or will ambition be wrought with greed? Will every discovery be sold to the highest bidder, trickling down to the starving masses below? Will every advancement be overshadowed by the philosophical dilemma which accompanies it? The cyberpunk genre envisions our future as bleak and cold, reverting to the tyrannical hierarchies of old. While not always dark and depressing, the genre almost always highlights the potential consequences of our chosen path. The Dreamcast has a varied library of cyberpunk ranging wide in tone and setting. While not all of these games are pure cyberpunk, they all showcase a dazzling and potentially horrifying vision of our future.
The drink for today is you. Be cool. Be you. Drink Quanticola.
Quantic Dream's first title was an open-world cyberpunk epic, spanning several sprawling cities. The world of Omicron brought players into a psychedelic realm of magic and tech. You start out by literally jumping into the body of another man. After hearing his plea for help, you assume control of his life and begin your quest to unravel the dark conspiracy afoot. Omicron is a wonderful open-world adventure. It combines adventure gaming, first-person shooting, and one-on-one fighting. Though the exploration is easily the most functional of the three playstyles, mind-jacking new characters to further explore the world is a fantastic idea. Omicron is huge, and it largely leaves progress in the hands of the player, allowing them to move on only once settled into a suitable avatar. It's no Shadowrun, but Omicron mixes mystics and machines like few games do. As of this video, only 33 years until cars have wings. San Francisco Rush 2049 is a spectacular arcade racer, running with all cylinders firing on the Dreamcast. You'll skid, glide, and race through the cities of tomorrow with blinding speed. Racing is technical yet approachable and dynamic. You can play many different ways, though some stages cater to certain builds more than others. Battle arenas, stunt parks, and good old-fashioned racing make this game a spectacle of what-if technology, as well as a brutal, unforgiving racing game. Machines run the future, literally. Slave Zero is a mech game more akin to standard FPS games of the era like Quake. It's fast, frantic shooting, circle strafing, and platform hopping with the added benefit of being a gigantic robot. It's a great twist, piling the advanced AI of a mech in a city which seemingly sprawls to no end. The art direction and setting deserve special praise as they make the levels into arenas both fantastical and believable. You'll land on busy freeways exchanging fire while the citizens of Megacity flee below. This is one of the premier cyberpunk games on the system, even if it isn't one of the premier shooters. But if you have a friend or two who like old school split-screen deathmatches, check it out. It's 2017, and hoverboards are overdue. Until we get them, hop into Criterion's Trickstyle. This hoverboard simulation is part racing game, part skateboard game. You can spend time in the pit learning tricks and impressing the crowd with your moves. Or you can take to the track, racing across 3 countries to earn the title of champion. You'll need to play dirty, defy gravity, and carve just right to make it through each race. Trickstyle is a hard game, but if the concept appeals to you, Trickstyle is a fascinating tour through the world of tomorrow. Great music and art direction make the game a cyberpunk fan's dream come true. Technology is supposed to alleviate our fears, make our lives easier. When an ancient horror invades the tiny offshore resort of Dinosaur Island, that's exactly what Elliot Blood and Dogs Bauer depend on. This near-future survival horror romp injects a healthy dose of cyber-tech and cutting-edge weaponry. Though Dogs tends to stick to t-shirts and low-tech weaponry, Elliot showcases his mastery of laser, rail, and countless other guns throughout their fearsome trek. Playing with both the melee and ranged weapons add a great flavor to the game. Thanks to the money system, you can experiment with different guns and their unique perks at different points in the game. But the cyberpunk flair doesn't stop at the weapons. This is a high-tech installation built upon a deserted crater. Whether you're searching 3D maps, restarting complex, sprawling computer systems, or uncovering the horrors of the secret laboratory, Blue Stinger's world is an easy one to get lost in. The neon light pouring over the shattered and broken ruins of the island's buildings gives the game a horrifying beauty.
Bring it on, sucker!
The Net, the battleground of the future. Supremacy is awarded via cybernetic gladiatorial combat, or something like that. The plot may be thin with heavy metal Geo Matrix, but the action and art more than make up for it. With a world and cast crafted by Bisley and Eastman, it's hard to take your eyes off the screen. A little bit Quake, a little bit Virtuon, Geo Matrix is an incredibly addictive fighting game shooter hybrid. Arcade mode will take you through the different cyber zones, challenging you to defeat increasingly tough opponents. Chaos Matrix challenges you in different ways, building your dexterity and aim through dozens of cyber-themed exercises. A great soundtrack backs up this wickedly original fighter. The virtual reality has never been done like this, and comic, metal, and fighter fans should definitely plug in.
No! How embarrassing!
返してくれる気はないらしい。
帰る気もないわ。
Well, not the most cyberpunky game on the list, Undercover Case certainly wins some awards for originality, and possibly the worst control scheme ever implemented in a third-person shooter. A live hostage situation requires the talent of Special Agent K, her partner, and their cat for some reason. What at first seems like a cool cyberpunk James Bond, Undercover K quickly loses all charm due to its clunky combat, horrendous movement, and dodgy performance. If you have patience and are willing to put in the practice, Undercover K has some cool action bits. It's a great Die Hard-esque idea that, unfortunately, misses in execution.
I understand.
In the race for supremacy, the most valuable resource is information. I Spy Operation Espionage is a real-time strategy game set in the near future. Governments and corporations are entwined in a never-ending cycle of data theft and war. Technologies are swapped and stolen constantly. Your part in this war? You take control of a security firm. It's your job to choose missions which will align or sever ties with warring factions. You'll also need to choose the right team for the job, as every member is equipped with their own skills. It's a demanding game, putting your planning and adaptation skills to the test. Missions can take hours, and there is no saving between. It's hardcore, unforgiving strategy with a cyberpunk flavor.
Ready? Go!
An X-Men variation of sorts, Psychic Force chronicles the lives of 12 outcasts. These individuals are capable of bending reality and physics to their will. However, their similarities end there. Each has their own idea on how their power should be used and how they should operate as a species. Thus, the fighting begins. From high-tech laboratories to rivers of molten lava, Psychic Force is a narrative-driven 3D fighter unlike anything else. The setting of technology clashing with mankind's evolution makes for a deep, emotional story not typical of fighting games. Probably the darkest, purest cyberpunk game on the list, Spiri is an adventure RPG hybrid. You take your party through pre-rendered environments, scouring for clues and items. It's filled with dark, unsettling imagery. The art and sound design scream future horror, and it can be a real treat to play, if you speak Japanese. Unfortunately, this gem never made it west. At first glance, Death Crimson OX appears to be a period-piece adventure game crossed with on-rails shooting. Play a little bit further and you'll discover a cyberpunk robot-infused horror game which mimics, but doesn't surpass, House of the Dead. You'll run through the streets of a quiet town and spooky caves of the surrounding wilderness, only to invade high-tech factories and dungeons minutes later. It's a fun change-up from the zombie and terrorist light gun games offered by Sega. It's not as well made, but its set-piece moments can be a lot of fun. Laura's old mentor, Von Croy, is up to no good. In this universe, archaeologists are not starving academics nose-deep in books. No, they're rich as fuck and building super technology. Laura goes a little Metal Gear Solid in Tomb Raider Chronicles. The building may not seem like a tomb at first glance, but the security systems of new end up mimicking the traps of old rather well. This is one of the most challenging sections in any Tomb Raider game, though it's also one of the freshest and most rewarding. Surprised to see the little blue guy? It's no Blade Runner, but Sonic has always been about showcasing the invasion of machines unto nature. While some machines help make the world work, others are geared to tear down anything not resembling themselves. Whether you're speeding through the sunny fields of Angel Island or the pale blue neon quarters of the A-Carrier, Sonic Adventure is a hell of a ride.
Tomorrow, so I guess I'll be seeing you soon.
Really? That's great. So why don't we go out for a celebratory drink?
Okay. I'll get ready.
Promise?
Promise.
Everyone knows the urban legend. Watch the video, answer the phone, and you get 7 days to live. In the Dreamcast game, the ring is not a video, rather it's a video game. You get teleported into a dark mirror of your world, forced to survive with others who frantically try to escape this virtual hell. It's a bottom-of-the-barrel survival horror title that doesn't really do the genre or the license justice. But if you're a true horror connoisseur looking for a challenge, the ring will more than suffice.
Side of the system, against the system. Because sometimes actions speak louder than words.
Fighting Force 2 isn't a game easily recommended. Matter of fact, it's the worst game on this list. It's hard to define as it's not quite a stealth game and it's not quite a beat-em-up. It is, however, undisputedly cyberpunk. Hawk Manson has been recruited to take down the Nakamichi for their illegal research in the field of biotech. Navigating a labyrinth of factories, offices, foundries, and laboratories, Hawk's neon-lit journey is a feast to look at, even if it is a bit of a bore to play. Visions of a dark future, the weight of mankind's dependence upon machines, the dangerous thrill of new technology, and speedy blue hedgehogs. The Dreamcast had some pretty interesting cyberpunk titles in its library. Though not as hardcore, political, philosophical, or even as punky as the genre can be, this collection is notable for its pronounced and developed look into the possible worlds of tomorrow. The very catchphrase of the console screams cyberpunk, so it's fitting that so many from the genre ended up calling the Dreamcast home. At one point, System Shock 2 was being ported to the console, though sadly it never came to fruition. A fan port of Snatcher is also in the works, so it's not too late to jump on board the DC hype train and add these titles to your backlog. If you like the genre, this is a great library to play around with.